Dear Margaret, I once asked you what to do with myself if I'd ever felt lonely from being without you. And you said, write me a letter and save them with all the others you've written me, so that I may take them with me now and in the next life. Here's my last one. Last night, I woke up from a dream I was having, where, while I was lying down atop some plain, grassy hillside, 1,000 butterflies surrounded my shape and lifted me off the earth. They carried me with ease. And though I reminded myself repeatedly to look at the ground below, I found I was paralyzed. Not once could I take in the abundant, green nothing, nor could I watch the passing clumps of clouds hanging all around me as the swarm flew me higher. Even the sea of blue, which invited me in from above, could not stand. Instead, I grew fixated on every face of the ever-chugging kaleidoscope. Tens of thousands of great beating eyes and mouths that curled off the ends of their faces, brushing across my skin. I had the courage to lift my gaze and confront the waiting sky. I felt cold, and then I felt warm. I felt helpless, and then I felt free. I felt that I could feel everything. But just when I did, I was dropped from heaven and left hurling down to the same hill I was ever so gently plucked from. And then I woke up, and I felt nothing. Margaret, I am not a religious person, nor am I a spiritualist. I have never found solace in the powers that be, and for the time I was raised to do so, I simply felt useless. But from birth, what I have always been was a romantic, a slop of sensitivity, as my mother said it, and I took it as a badge of honor. Someone who could take something as mundane as a 2-day-old pot of coffee and brand it as dejection, because, considering the sight, everything meant something. In fact, I remember around 4 or 5 months into the pandemic, when my only time permitted outdoors was for a walk with the dog around suburbia, I had seen something that just about brought me to tears. I'd noticed a kite stuck in an oak tree. I saw this every day, for every walk I took, and every time I stopped, the scene seemed to etch itself into my head. For about 3 more weeks to follow, the kite did not move, until finally, it disappeared, unable to even leave its mark with the branches in the tree. It was like the kite had never been there at all. It was the most emptying feeling I had ever had in my life. And that night, I disassembled the parts of my razor's head, grabbed its first blade, and I cut my thighs until I cried nothing on that bathroom floor. Nothing has ever made sense to me. Nothing but you. And while I think about the narcissism and selfishness poured into these stories, and how all of them are addressed to you, I need you to know that it is because you are the only thing I am thinking about. You are the only reason I have the strength to do what I've told myself I'd do time and time again. You are the only person I have ever loved, and I've ever taken for just the thing that sits and breathes in front of me. I promise you, you are not an idea to me. You are simply and beautifully you. And I'm sorry that we didn't make it, or that I made it long enough to tell you all the thoughts I've had and will have. But writing this now, I feel content that you'll be the last memory in my head, even as it still tries to make metaphors of butterflies and kites. But hey, maybe in the next life. Sincerely yours,